Welcome to the On the Line podcast, everyone. The first Grand Slam of the year is over. 4 more months until the next one, but plenty to talk about. I am your host, Noel Alberto, with co-host Oliver Dixon Jeffers. Oliver, how are you doing on this at the end of this fortnight?
Yeah, it's good. It's kind of a shame it's over. No Grand Slam tennis for a while, but a lot to talk about. Eventful 2 weeks.
Yeah, very eventful indeed. Yes. So we'll get started and with number one. The magic number was one for either woman in two senses of the word or of the number, in fact, because Caroline Wozniacki and Simona Halep played for the Australian Open title. The winner was going to not only get their first Grand Slam title, but also be world number one come Monday. For Halep, she would have retained it. For Wozniacki, she would have taken it over again. It would have been, I believe, her 70th week if she got it when she starts Monday.
I think it'll be 68th week.
60, all right. So around there. So, but yeah, it was an absolute thriller of a match, and some say better than the men's final, and I agree in that sense. But yes, Caroline Wozniacki detracts the haters. No, I'm kidding. But ends her drought of being slamless and gets her first Grand Slam title. I know we talked about her winning one, but we didn't think it'd come on these fast courts in Australia. But she played some brilliant tennis, saved match points against Sienna Fett, and then came through in the end. It was, man, brilliant stuff.
Yeah, it was a really good final in lots of different ways. I think through the first set and a half, the quality was immense, and especially for Wozniacki early on in the first set, and Halep worked her way back into it. And after
she was down 5-2 in the first.
Yeah, Halep, and she forced it back to the tiebreaker. Yeah, but after that, the tennis dropped a bit. I think obviously Halep was obviously a little bit fatigued, still fighting very hard. But I think Wozniacki, in response to that, became a bit passive. But even though the tennis was still okay, it wasn't bad.
Yeah.
But just it was so tense in that final set. I don't think I've ever seen anything like it. Both women fighting so hard.
They both got medical timeouts.
Yeah, there's obviously had Wozniacki go break up early on, get broken back, go break up again. And then obviously Halep took control when a break up, and then Wozniacki came back afterwards to take it. So it was an immense final. It was fun to watch, very tense as well. You never really knew who was going to take it at all in that final set. It was so tight, and it's a shame that Halep had to lose.
Yeah, shame someone had to lose. Yeah.
Yeah, she deserves some title, but I think it's such a relief for Wozniacki to have done it, because she has been, and I say unfairly, asked so many times about that bit of number one not winning a slam, and she was the person who was there week in, week out, winning tournaments, winning matches, and a lot of people tried to devalidate that, which is very unfair. And so I think
very unfair. I agree with you.
Get to number one, which will be exactly 6 years after she was last ranked number one. That's the biggest gap in the history of either the men's or women's rankings. I think it's a big thing for her. I think it's kind of, she certainly got the last laugh.
Yeah, I mean, for so long, she was always asked, "Oh, how come you were number one and you can't win a slam, but you've won all these tour level titles?" And obviously, it's unfair. Obviously, I mean, 67 weeks at world number one, more than Ben Rothenberg listed this list out, and some notable names here: Venus, Clijsters, Muguruza, Goolagong, Sanchez Vicario. That's like 5 legends of the game. I think Capriati was on there too.
Yeah, there's quite a few. I mean, if you have a look, I mean, Sharapova is obviously 5 Grand Slam titles. She's been world number one for just 21 weeks. So you look at Wozniacki's 3 times that plus a bit more. I mean, obviously more than Venus as well. Venus has only been world number one for like 11 weeks or something. So yeah, she was just completely in control. She had she got the world number one ranking late in October 2010. Obviously, she'd been playing well, but obviously Serena has suffered that her pulmonary embolism, so she was off tour. But then in 2011, there was 1 week early on in the year where Kim Clash just took the number one ranking, but she got it back the next week and was number one for the rest of the year. So she was just the best, most consistent, which is what world number one is about. It's about the period over 12 months. And the slams are just 4 of those tournaments. They're just 8 weeks of the year. So it's about winning other matches outside of it. So she did, for me, she did deserve the number one ranking. That criticism was unfair. So I'm very happy for her that she was able to put that aside. And like I said, get the last laugh. And obviously, I would have been the same for Halep as well, because she's also come under that criticism.
Mm-hmm.
But unfortunately, like as you said, only one could win. And Wozniacki just edged it in the end. Those final 2 points were immense, especially the one that set up the championship point.
Yeah, this was some world-class tennis between these two. I mean, here in the States, this match started, I mean, both finals started at 3:30 a.m. I mean, staying up, there was no lack of drama in this match. And like I mentioned earlier, there were 2 medical timeouts in that final set. Obviously, Halep for the foot ankle, which she slipped again when she slipped in her first round match against Destiny Ayava. And then Wozniacki had an acute knee problem, so it was drama with injuries, drama on the with the points, like drama everywhere. And as we said, it was a shame we had to see someone lose, but either woman was such a deserving champion.
Yeah, and as you mentioned, injuries, it was in grueling conditions as well, incredibly hot and humid. And as we found out since, that Halep was actually in hospital.
Yeah.
For quite a few hours of dehydration afterwards, which is worrying. And they've said that didn't play any impact in the men's final being under the roof, but surely it did.
Yeah, surely it did, yes.
Because the conditions were just as hot. And obviously that was a long final, 2 hours 49, the women's final. The men's could have potentially gone on a lot longer. It did go on and longer, but not that much in the end.
Mm-hmm.
But if that had been back to the Djokovic Nadal final a few years ago, 5 hours 50 or something.
5:54, I believe.
Yeah, something like that. 5:53, 5:54. It would have been grueling, and it could have been dangerous for both the players and for the fans, for the ball kids, for the umpires, line judges, anything. So yeah, it was absolutely grueling conditions, especially because it's late at night, and they both worked incredibly hard. And you have to hope, and you have to think that Halep will win a slam, because we've questioned in the past, not so much the past half a year, before that, we questioned her mentality. But her mentality has never been the reason why she's lost any of her Grand Slam finals, I feel.
Mm-hmm. No.
Maybe kind of at the French Open last year, but at the same time, if Ostapenko is playing like she was at some stages, then not many people could challenge her. So, yeah, I think she has a real shot to win the French Open. And I would like to see her win a slam at one point, because she is a great ambassador for our sport. But unfortunately, if you could say the same about Wozniacki otherwise, and it was Wozniacki who just edged the match in the end.
Yeah, I mean, speaking about that mentality, obviously, there are a lot of people bringing up the 2 press conferences from last year's French Open final after she lost, and then this year's. Like, she seemed a lot more at ease despite the loss, and she even brought up the fact with some players, like Clijsters lost a few. I think she even mentioned Wozniacki. Clijsters, Wozniacki, they lost a few slam finals before they won their first one. So just getting there felt good for her, and she knows that she has the ability to win one.
Absolutely. I mean, you said that obviously Kim Clash had lost her first 4 and then went on to win the next 4 when she retired the first time. She had a 1-4 record in Grand Slam finals. She came back. She went free love. And, it's the same with Andy Murray and Ivan Lendl. They both lost their first 4 slam finals. They've both gone on to win quite a few. And I'm sure there's various others out there, people having lost their first few finals or having lost a few in a row at one stage. So, yeah, I mean, she's still had the belief that she can win one. And I'm sure, I think, even in the past few months, obviously since that French Open defeat, which was hard for her, I think she's kind of realised, in the same way that people have been questioned before, they realise that whilst they'd love to win a slam, it's not the be-all and end-all. They still have their family and their friends and that big support unit. So in the context of that, a slam seems rather trivial. So I think that kind of relaxes the mind and puts less pressure on. But actually, obviously, she still love to win one, and I really think she can.
Yeah, I agree so too. I mean, great final, and then quick mention that the final was so long. It was not. It was like 20 minutes short of what Wozniacki ran at the New York Marathon a few years ago. So asked her about that. But congrats to both women, Caroline Wozniacki for her first Grand Slam title, and then to Simona Halep as well for putting on for a fantastic show. And now we move on to the men's final. Roger Federer captures an elusive 20th Grand Slam title, first man to ever complete the feat, to achieve the feat. 5 sets against Marin Cilic. And like we said, the roof was closed. And apparently Federer had an idea that they closed the roof. Cilic said it in his post-match that kind of threw him off a bit.
Yeah, it's a bit odd. Cilic said he wasn't. It was fine once he settled in, but it was for the slow starts. Yeah, it's a bit strange. It's does disrupt it because obviously they practiced during the day and another scorching day. I think it was a high of 38. So it does disrupt your rhythm, obviously practicing, getting prepared for a match, that type of heat. And obviously the roof comes over and I think it's about 24 degrees inside. All the air conditioning. So that's obviously not cool, but it's better conditions for playing tennis in. So yeah, I think it was they could have done with telling Cilic a bit earlier, but I'm not sure if it played too much of an impact in the end, even though he did put on, a very good performance. Federer was just a bit too strong. And that final set was probably the best tennis Federer played all tournament.
Agree.
It wasn't vintage tennis, but it was better. And he just about edged it at the end. But yeah. Kind of think, obviously, when I talk about the GOAT debate, I separate the men's from the women's because it's obviously different fields. They have to face different people, all different factors. But I think this surely, for now, has to settle for GOAT debate for the men.
Yeah.
4 ahead of Rafa, first man to 20. Obviously, people talk about Rod Laver. I don't know what he would have done if he'd been able to play and not turn professional. But I can't make a reasonable argument for anyone challenging Federer as the greatest of all male tennis player of all time at the moment.
Yeah, completely agree with you there. And that's obviously a different topic for a different time. If there is still a debate, I certainly think there is not a debate, but yes. But some fantastic tennis. Federer got off to the quick start, and then Cilic settled in, edged Federer in that second set tiebreak, which went an hour. So he got settled in, and then Federer obviously took the third, and then Cilic got a late break in the 4th set, and then to take it to a decider, just like it went last year, another deciding set. But Federer got the quick break in the 5th, and then, like you said, his best tennis of this whole tournament, pretty much cruised along in that 5th.
Yeah. Like you said, I don't think it was as good as the women's final, but it was a better final than I thought it could have been. I did think Cilic had the capability to take a set, but I thought Federer would be mostly comfortable. But yeah, it was a good, not a great match, but a good match. Obviously, Federer was very nervous in that 4th set. Obviously, he was 3-1 up at a points. I think when Cilic was serving Lofty down for a double break, I mentally lost it a little bit then, but he was able to regain. So
he said something that he was kind of looking at that point. He was kind of looking at, I'm so close to 20, and it was kind of like thinking about his speech. He said.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so he did lose concentration. Cilic took advantage because Cilic, as you mentioned, got off to a slow start, but since then had looked, good, and obviously he was able to take advantage. And he did have his couple of break points in the very first game of the decider, which may have changed it. You never know. I would guess Federer probably still would have come back and won. But yeah, I think
did it last year.
Did it last year? I think Cilic be encouraged for sure.
The new world number 3,
3rd Grand Slam final. Yeah, new world number 3 as well, career high. So which makes sense because he's got 2 Grand Slam finals under his belt. But yeah, so it'll be interesting. Federer, one obviously never really tested, didn't have to play amazing tennis until that final set. So it'll be interesting to see how things go if he gets more of a challenge later on. But yeah, got to back him to certainly win a lot more big titles this year.
Yeah, I mean, it's just a blessing to have this man at 37. 37, right?
Okay. He'll be 37 in August.
Yeah,
Yeah, so
36,
so 6
37.
oh, yeah.
Just absolutely still captivating us. And not a dry eye in Rod Laver for Federer fans as he got emotional in his thank you speech to everyone. And obviously, he didn't say see you next year, but so we don't know. But he said it at the Hopman Cup, so
He
we don't know yet.
I saw him a couple of times he was asked about that, and I know with on games Shet and Mats on Eurosport, with obviously Barbara Shet and Mats Wilander, they asked him about that, and he said he just went in that moment. He didn't think of it. He still plans to play next year. He thinks he's got a couple of years left. But yeah, potentially. I mean, he is 36, so and he does really have nothing to prove. But I still think he really loves playing tennis. He's
Yeah,
not
he
going to be around.
loves like
I think I think maybe after the end of next year, because he has that contract to play at Basel until next season. So maybe then, maybe that Basel tournament could be a good buy. But I would be surprised if he tied at the end of this year. I think next year is more likely.
Yeah, I agree. Next year or whenever he plays the French once more. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, like you said, nothing to be upset about for Marin Cilic. Played better, played a lot better than what most people thought. Most people unfairly, I would say, said they thought it'd be like the Wimbledon final, but they guess they did forget the fact that Cilic was injured in that Wimbledon final.
Yeah, I mean, back to that Wimbledon final, I thought he would have taken the set there, and obviously it turned out he wasn't able to play at his best. And I thought the same again. I thought he'd take his set probably, but I thought there was a chance that Federer could be comfortable. It'd be like Cilic at the first set of the tiebreak, and then Federer motored along. But no, yeah, apart from that, first set he got to a slow start. Second, third, and fourth sets he played great, and then in the fifth set he was just outplayed. He couldn't really do much. So he can be very proud of his fortnight. And let's hope he moves on and potentially challenges for more slam because he has a game. And as I've seen a couple of people on Twitter say this week, he's taken advantage of his opportunities more than other players.
Yeah, I saw that too from
yeah,
Tamani Carriel. I think he was the one
yeah,
who brought it up.
yeah,
And
yeah.
that you got to give props to that. They're the likes of Burditch, Songa, Monfi, like just a quick cascade, just a quick list of names that obviously have had the talent but never took advantage of it. And Cilic is doing exactly that. And I feel there will be more Grand Slam titles in his future.
I think potentially yes. I mean, and obviously the clay at the French Open is not going to be his best shot, but Wimbledon and hard courts, he could be potentially dangerous if he's on. And if he's on, it's very hard to challenge him. Just you have to look at the final 5 games of that fourth set today to see that Federer couldn't really do much because Cilic is striking the ball so beautifully. So if he's able to play well consistently, he can beat anyone at the majors. So yeah, I think he could maybe win another one this year because I think there's still going to be opportunities with Murray and Djokovic. Obviously, Murray not being back until Wimbledon, Djokovic. Probably going to take a while to work back to his best. So we'll see.
Still question marks about Nadal too. So
yeah, exactly. I mean, world number 1 ranking could change next month.
Yes.
If Nadal doesn't defend, I think that if Nadal doesn't reach the semi-final in Acapulco,
yeah,
I think Federer will become world number 1. So, yeah.
Yeah. It won't be, yeah. So congrats to Roger and Marin Cilic for a fantastic display in that men's final. This kind of reminds me of 2017 in a sense, like in the fact that we had one good final, one great final, except they flip flop this time. But hopefully the rest of the season doesn't kind of like disappoint. Grand Slam season at least doesn't like disappoint after this like it did last year.
Well, I mean, the women's tournament was great at this year's Australian Open. It was incredible, so many incredible matches, big storylines. On the men's side, I don't think it was as good. Not many memorable matches. Obviously, a couple of big stories like Chung and Edmund, which is great. But yeah, I mean, it was when Rafa pulled out, you couldn't really see anyone challenging Federer.
No.
So, but yeah, hopefully, because I mean, last year, I mean, obviously, you had a great women's French Open final, But apart from that, none of the Grand Slam finals are that memorable. Obviously, French Open, Nadal destroyed Wawrinka. Obviously, La Decima was a big thing. It wasn't a good final. Wimbledon, obviously, Federer got past injured Cilic. First set of the ladies' final did look good, but after Venus missed their set points, Garbine, Muguruza ran away with it. And obviously, the US Open final, women's one was obviously very disappointing, and obviously Nadal wasn't tested by Kevin Anderson in the men's. So let's just hope for better Grand Slam finals.
Yeah.
I mean, following example of these two, because like you said, there was a good men's one and a fantastic, very memorable women's one.
Yeah, hopefully Grand Slam season doesn't disappoint after the Australian Open. And like we said, congrats to both Federer and Cilic for great showing, and obviously to Federer for the 20th Grand Slam title. Still see some more in his future, despite the age, as age is just a number for Roger. But quickly, before we end, obviously there's still tennis going on because Grand Slam tennis is not the only tennis. So the men had to have Davis Cup, which we will tackle a little bit next week on our pod. But there's two tournaments, the WTA tournaments in St. Petersburg and one in Taipei. And surely Australian Open champion Caroline Wozniacki has to pull out of St. Petersburg, right?
I mean, last year Venus Williams obviously made the final, and she went on to play, but she lost very early on, I believe. So it'd be interesting to see what happens. I mean, if she plays, she's probably going to win, but I think she'd just like to maybe have a nice week off. To be fair, like I'm sure, like anyone in that position, obviously how big this title is for her, I'm sure she'll like to just take a bit of time. Or maybe she just want to get straight back on court. So I'm not sure, but if she does play, I think she's probably going to win. But if not, I mean, there's opportunities like obviously Kristina Mladenovic has won in I think 15 singles matches. She'll start against Serrano, Sestao, Dominika Sabulkova. Either one of them is going to be nasty. Ostapenko and Garcia on the same half to draw. That could be interesting.
Yeah, that's going to be a very interesting.
I think one of them could do. Petra Kvitova's got a wild card as well. Interested to see how she fares. So yeah.
And then also Julia Gergis here as well.
Oh yeah, yes. It could be very interesting. Obviously, she disappointed at the Australian Open. Interested if she can rebound and win her fourth, tour level title outside the stands in a row. So yeah, it's going to be interesting.
Yeah.
Obviously, Timea Basinski making a return as well. Oh, Vivian von Raver in the main draw. That's an interesting one. Did you notice that? That's her first main draw appearance of her since her comeback, I believe.
Yeah. But yeah, you mentioned 15 straight losses on the bounce from Mladenovic, and she as it stands, even if she's the defending champion, even if she goes out in the first round, it looks like she might still be in and around the top 15 or 20.
Yeah, I think she's going to be 10th next week.
Yeah, she'll be 10, which matches her career high.
Yeah. And she still has a lot of points to defend after that, so she has quite a bit of a safety buffer for now, but she does need to start winning again. Obviously, her and Timea Babos won the women's doubles title, so it'd be interesting to see if that could give her some confidence.
That could be something.
That's a really good section of that draw. You've got Sestao Sabulkova to play with Mladenovic. Then you've got Vekic versus Siliakova, and then Makarova versus Pavlyuchenkova in the other match of that quarter. That's a really quite fun part of that draw.
Yeah, this draw's pretty loaded. Obviously, a lot of players who went out early, bar Wozniacki and Garcia to an extent, are looking to kind of get their 2018 bit more kick-started. And then in Taiwan, Peng Shuai, the top seed here, and she has a fairly nice draw on Anna Bogdan, tricky first rounder, but then after that, not that much. There's not really much in this draw. Obviously, Zhang Shui is the 2 seed, so obviously in Taiwan they're looking for an all Chinese final.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. I mean, obviously, Peng Shui had disappointed Australian Open, lost in the first round. Zhang Shui obviously beat Stevens, but obviously lost after that. It's very unpredictable. It's one of those tournaments that, potentially everyone has a shot. I mean, can Sam Stosur be bound from another disappointing home season, as it were? There's a lot of potential dangers in there. Someone like Timur Babos is the 4th seed. Obviously, like I said, just
One doubles title.
Yeah, with Mladenovic, can she move on from that? Maybe so it's very hard to tell, but it'd be interesting to see someone like Zarina Diaz had a resurgent few months after injury. She's seen this could be an opportunity for her. Her fellow Kazakh Yulia Putin-Seva, I think, it's always got to be seen as a danger if she's at her best to anyone. But she's unpredictable and erratic as well. So it's hard to tell. I think looking for Peng Shui or Zhang Shui is probably the best shout, but there's obviously a big chance that they could be upset somewhere in the way.
Yeah. Also, want to mention Bouchard is in the draw. She should favorite to win over her first match over Lin Zhu, but don't know what Bouchard has in store. But maybe she'll end her. I believe she's fallen out of the top 100 now. Yeah, she's 120, so she'll need something to get going and back into the top 100, or she might be playing qualifiers for a lot of the slam events.
Yeah, I know she has that. She's in here via wild card as well. So obviously, I guess that was something that was done just a couple of weeks ago. But yeah, I believe it's next month that there's going to be a final decision on her case against the USTA, which I think could be a weight off her mind either way now. So I think once that is cleared, I think she might be a bit more free on court and she might have a bit of a better season. But we'll have to see.
Yeah, and then quickly before one last mention, it seems like Victoria Azarenka has gotten a wild card to, I believe it's Doha.
Yeah, with Maria Sharapova.
Yeah.
Dubai. Sharapova's got a wild card into Doha. They both got one into Dubai, I think.
Oh, okay. And it seems like Azarenka has hired a coach now, a former coach of one of the NCAA programs here in the U.S. I believe the coach is trying to find the information.
It is Doha, sorry.
Yeah. So, yeah, the coach is the former Sacramento State tennis coach who is from the capital of Belarus. Obviously, we know Azarenka is a Belarusian herself. And
they worked together when she was a junior, I believe.
So it seems like things are progressing on the Azarenka front.
Yeah, obviously there's that news, which is there's no official confirmation, but that she'd had a major victory in that custody battle against her ex-partner. So yeah, I think looks like she's coming back to court, which would be great. With her coming back, and obviously Serena going to come back as well. We've still got Sharapova, Kvitova on the comeback trail. 4 very dangerous players, low ranked, potential dangers in the first round at big tournaments. This could be very exciting.
Oh yeah, it'll be great to see Azarenka back in full action. And then one last thing, like father, like son, Peter Korda's son, Sebastian, wins the Australian Open boys title. Peter was the 1998 champion. And nice to see tennis still running in the family.
Well, yeah, it's quite an interesting story because both his daughters, I believe, are on the professional golfers. They played at golf majors before. And I'm not sure, but his son was never massively into tennis as a child. It was only after going to seeing a Radek-Stepanek match that he decided he wanted to play tennis. So he doesn't actually play tennis because of his dad, which is quite funny, I find. But it's certainly like a big thing. Obviously, winning a junior title, your dad won the tournament. So yeah, be interested to see if he wins the Slam as well. But obviously, it's a long way to talk about. Yeah, he's only 17, so
Yeah, long way to go for young Sebastian, but nice to see tennis still running through the bloodline. So, yes, we are the On the Line podcast. Oliver, where can we find you on social media?
at Oliver DJ 1998.
You could find me at Not First of All. You could find both of us writing for WSA. Obviously, we'll still be getting pieces out despite Australian Open ending. And you could find the pod's Twitter at On the Line Pod. We will be getting the podcast up on SoundCloud and then hopefully to iTunes and other podcast players to you shortly. We hope you all have a very wonderful day, and we hope you enjoyed a fortnight of your first Grand Slam of the season.